Namaste, I'm Shubhi Mathur and I welcome you all to the finale episode of this Ikigai series. We hope you enjoyed this series. In this series, we had speakers from different age groups, different cities, and different backgrounds. But there was one thing common in them. They had the passion and the courage to come out of their comfort zone. Comfort zone, a very happy zone which we all create after a lot of effort and hard work. It is such a warm, cozy, एक अपनी सी जगह जिसमें हम सब खो जाते हैं, absorb हो जाते हैं. We look forward to a relaxed morning tea session, a breakfast where we enjoy every bite, a space where we are free to talk to anyone at our own convenient time. Then why should we think to come out of it? एक सुकून की जिंदगी है, क्यों उसमें उथल पुथल करें? This is what we look forward to. Maybe this is our Ikigai. Having speakers from different age groups answered this question too. They could explore, rediscover themselves only and only when they came out of their comfort zone. Until you come out of it, you will never know what life has to offer to you. In this series, we had speakers from different age groups who kept on trying, exploring, experimenting, or introspecting themselves to find their Ikigai. This was something which they were doing it for the first time. In the finale episode, we have someone who was already doing something. She was in a very promising career and she quit that and started to pursue her passion, chase her dream. You would have seen her on our channel earlier showcasing her dance skills. Yes, few of you might have guessed it. It's Prachi Bar. So let us hear from Prachi how she quit her career and chose to follow her dreams, pursue her passion, and find her Ikigai. Welcome, Prachi. It is so good to have you back on Let Us Talk.
Thank you so much for having me, Shruti. It's a happy moment for me to come and share my thoughts.
Yeah, and in this Ikigai series, we've had people from different age groups, different backgrounds, and mostly all of them started doing something new, something like which they just started for the first time. And when I was thinking about the age groups, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, so you were the first name which clicked to me when I was, thinking about whom to have in 20s. Because, 20s is the time when people are at the peak of their career, enjoying the success, climbing the corporate ladder. And I forgot to mention that, you were working as a journalist with big brands like Aaj and NDTV. So why did you quit that and how did you start your journey? Just tell us something about it.
So I was working in television news. I was a broadcast journalist. I worked in the field, in the studio. And I had a really good time. I enjoyed myself while I was there. And it was a fantastic learning experience. I can attribute a lot of my soft skills today to the time that I spent on the field, reporting, meeting a lot of people, coming up with new ideas, new story ideas on a daily basis. But by the end of about 7 or 8 years, in this career, I had started to feel a little disconnected with, what was going on around me. And there was this urge inside me that I need to do something that is more meaningful and that has a real impact. And somehow at that stage, the television journalism world was not giving me, that sense of, deep fulfillment or feeling like I'm doing something impactful or meaningful. So that's the reason I decided to, take a step back. Although you're right, it was at a time when usually people would think about, climbing the ladder and, moving up. And for me, it's always been the journey and never the destination. So I've never looked at a profession thinking that this is where I want to be. For me, it's always where I am today. Is this what I want to do? And am I enjoying this? And if this is not what I feel I am meant to do, then I don't mind, taking a risk and trying out something else. That's just who I am. So the reason I quit journalism at that point was television journalism is like a treadmill. You're constantly running, and you know how it is on a treadmill, right? Even to stop and think of what you want to do, you can't stop on a treadmill unless you hit the stop button and get off it. So I knew that I would not know what it is that I'm looking for, or what I want to do, or what will be leading to, what I'm doing, unless I stop doing what I'm doing. That is the reason I quit. I didn't quit with any plan or any next steps in mind.
So that's a big jump which you took, because you had a baby by then. And ideally we all want what you said, but realistic life kuch aur hi hoti hai. The realities hit differently, and reality bites are absolutely different. So how was this decision making process? I'm sure it won't have been easy, and especially in a place like Mumbai, which is not an easy place to survive. So how did you take this? How did you take this thing to quit your career? Yeah.
It was definitely not easy, but also it was not sudden. Like I mentioned, the feeling that something is missing had crept in around by the time I was 7 years into journalism already. So for a year or a year and a half, I was working with this thought in my mind that आज जाके मुझे आज स्टोरी ढूंढनी है, स्टोरी फाइल करनी है. So I am living on a very short-term basis. I am living a very day-to-day life. I'm not getting the opportunity to take a macro view of where I am going or what I am doing, because I don't have the bandwidth to think of that. I have to first get a story in hand. Like, what do I file today? What do I file tomorrow? What's my plan? So slowly that kind of lifestyle and that kind of working style got to me, and I realized that I need to first hit the brake and get off this treadmill to take a macro view at where I am in my life and where is it that I would like to be in future. And I can't think of any of that until I take this break first. So more than a year I was thinking about it, and finally I reached a point where I decided that okay, now it's a family decision. I have a child, and my husband is very supportive. So early on in our careers, there was a lot of struggle for both of us. We had to get a house, and there were EMIs and things like that. He had started a new business, so I had to hold a stable job for a longer time. When his business started doing well, I could think of taking the risk of stopping what I am already established in and trying out something else. So around the time we reached that stage in our life together jointly, I would say, not just myself, is when we decided that okay, let's quit. Let's see what else is there. Let's try out a few things, and whatever we do, the whole goal is that we are never thinking of where it will. We are always thinking of, is this what we want to do, and is this what we will do happily? Then I think that's half the battle point. So yeah, it took me about a year and a half to finally put in my papers.
And then after resigning, after quitting, you started absolutely a new journey. Your love for performing arts nurtured, and you started pursuing Kathak. So it was a complete switch. Like normally people who quit, they start their own venture, they do things which they have been doing, start their own publication or some online journal, some magazine, but you took a complete switch. It was absolutely different, something which you were not doing earlier. So how did this love for performing art and Kathak came in that time?
So I would say that I did not go looking for Kathak. Kathak found me. Wow. And that is the most fortunate thing that could have happened to me in my life. I always wanted to dance. I was always extremely passionate about dancing. I did not get the opportunity to learn as a child, and as a child itself, actually, I had decided that when I will reach a certain stage in my life, it sounds very like, chota muh badi baat kind of a thing for a child, but I had kind of made a resolve in childhood that when I'll be grown up and I'll reach a stage in my life where I will have my own resources, I will have my own time and money at, in my control, I will make place for dance in my life in some way or the other. I have no plan that I will become a dancer or what it is, but I will bring dance in my life in some way. So I had already started learning.
Yeah, I'm saying you manifested it. The universe conspired for it. You wanted it, and see how it came to you at the time when you needed it the most, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So around after my son was born, when I was on my maternity leave and I wanted to start getting out of the house, getting used to the routine of being away from the baby, before I could resume work, I joined a dance class because I thought, okay, now when else will I get this kind of time to follow my passion? So I joined a dance class, and obviously it gave me good exercise, and I was enjoying it. I resumed my work after that. And by then, I had started looking for a serious teacher because the earlier class was just for fun, to spend an hour away from the house to get the baby used to not having me around, things like that. So I started looking for a serious teacher, and I found Pandit Chitresh Das, my Guruji. One night shift, as I say, when I was doing a night shift in NDTV, and it was a day that I was done with my work, and there were a few hours just for my shift to get over. So I was researching and browsing on the internet, and I came across this brilliant dancer's video. And then, as you know, the browsing goes. Now that you are the queen of YouTube,
Wow.
one thing led to another, and I saw a series of videos of Guruji and his dance company and his ensemble dancing, and I was completely blown away. And that's when I thought that अगर मुझे कथक सीखना है तो मुझे इनसे सीखना है। फिर वो सारा शुरू हुआ रिसर्च कि अरे ये तो पता चला इंडिया में है ही नहीं, ये तो पूरी कैलिफोर्निया की कंपनी है और यहाँ नहीं रहते हैं। So I was like, चलो शायद ये मेरे नसीब में है नहीं, तो क्या करें? ऐसे करते करते months passed, and then I saw an ad in the newspaper that Guruji was performing at NC. He was on an India tour. So I got the tickets and I went to watch the performance, and I watched him perform live, and I was sitting in the first seat, right in front of the stage at in Tata Theatre. And then I was like, okay, there's a reason why पूरा theatre book था और ये एक ही सीट खाली थी सामने की, तो मुझे इतनी नजदीक से देखने मिला। तो मुझे लगा कि कुछ तो साइन है कि मैं गूगल पे ढूंढती हूँ तो ये आते हैं, ये इंडिया में आते हैं, मुझे एक ही टिकट मिलती है, वो भी फ्रंट रो की मिलती है, तो I must pursue this, So I kept on the lookout, and in a few months after that, his disciple Seema Mehta ji, she started his school in India, in Mumbai.
Yeah.
So I immediately, as I came to know, I enrolled, and it was difficult in the beginning because I had a full-time job in television journalism. I had a 1.5-year-old at home, and committing to a class time was nearly impossible for me. Going on a fixed day at a fixed time, my shift would keep changing. There would be breaking news, and all of that kept happening. But I made sure that I didn't quit. My first step of my commitment to the dance was, मुझसे जितना हो सके मैं करूँगी, मैं छोड़ूंगी नहीं। फिर वो चाहे कहीं भी जाए, बिकॉज वैसे भी मुझे मेरा कोई गोल ऐसे तो था नहीं, मुझे बस सीखना था। एंड फॉर अ स्टूडेंट anything is enough, it's good enough. Yeah. So I just made sure over the years that I didn't quit learning. And then when I quit journalism, I could give it more time, more dedication, more committed and disciplined, focus. And after that, I think there was no looking back, because I've changed multiple jobs after that. I worked full time in an event company, and there were many times when I came this close to quitting and saying, "Ki bas, now I won't be able to do it. इसके आगे I won't be able to do it. इस शो के बाद मैं छोड़ दूंगी, इस लेवल के बाद मैं छोड़ दूंगी." मगर मैंने नहीं छोड़ा, and I think that was really something I look back now and feel that the world, the universe, my family, everyone just made sure that whatever else was happening in my life, I kept learning, and that's my biggest I would say takeaway from my experience in dance. That if you have a student approach, then there is really no reason for you to quit or stop doing something, because you can be a student already.
Isn't Prachi's journey so interesting and fascinating? At that point of time, at that point of age, where we all look for such a perky job, a job which gives you so much of travel, exposure, meeting such wonderful people, keeping yourself up to date with what's happening, and you leave all this to chase your passion, to follow your dreams, to look for something more meaningful, more impactful. Stay tuned with us for part 2 of this video. Thank you.